Anthony on Air podcast back for another episode. So much to talk about, including Jean-Luc Brunel, Hillary Clinton, and Ted Cruz all caught up in a controversy together. Plus, a former Barclays CEO and Epstein associate gets his stock frozen. We'll hop into that story. Two prosecutors quit in President Trump's case while he praises Vladimir Putin while his daughter Ivanka is in talks to talk with the January 6th commission. We have a freak 2222222 baby. Gregg Abbots strikes again. The Texas Railroad Commissioner candidate race. We're going to talk about that, Frank, and there's a reason why. Because one of the candidates is turning some heads.
Can we start with that? Because that's a weird one.
Yeah, that is a weird one. And I'm going to trip over that one a whole bunch. Frozen Olympic peen, still not on Truth Social. We've got a new highlight reel out, which we'll discuss, and of course, fan feedback, all on this episode. Frankie C is here. How you doing, my man?
Doing all right. What's going on?
So Ted Cruz found himself in the middle of the Jean-Luc Brunel suicide story.
How?
Well, here's what's amazing about this. He basically did what we did, but we're a silly little podcast, and he is a United States senator.
Oh, I know what he did. He on Twitter,
Yeah.
he kind of made the he made it seem like Hillary had something to do with it.
So as the news was breaking on Saturday, unbeknownst to a lot of people, he tweeted out, "Does anyone know where Hillary was this weekend?"
See, we do it in like a joking way. He does it.
Well, joking with a little truth behind it, like we're all just a little curious.
We don't know nothing. But to be a senator saying that kind of thing,
yeah,
you're an idiot. Ted Cruz is an idiot. I'm sorry. He's a moron in every sense of the word.
Yeah, so now and here's the thing with this too. I mean, again, we question, we wonder. There's obviously something around the Blintons, as I like to say, in an effort to stay alive and under the radar. There's obviously something there with all of that body count going on. But yeah, like you said, he's a United States senator. So when he does it, it reaches a new level of all kinds of insanity, and all these people get all crazy around, like, see,
you're like, yeah, you might be somewhat joking, but there's an underlying, like if you ask him, he would probably be like, wink, wink, yeah, I'm kidding, I feel like he's trying to be sneaky about it and like say, yeah, I'm joking, it's a joke, but he's probably deep down probably means it a little bit, Well,
I know he means it, but I think what the issue becomes is, people think he has some level of security clearance, or that there's something that he knows, and that's why it's not appropriate for him to comment on it. We're all wondering it. We all feel like there's probably some bit of truth to it. Ironic. I mean, it can't be that all these people around these two are just coincidentally dying in freak accidents all the time. But when a senator, like I said, when a senator who's, has a certain level of security clearance says some shit like this, it's kind of like you're giving people false hope. Like, I feel
you're bringing a conspiracy theory, and you're throwing fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
So now you're getting people to who think maybe, but then take it. You're making people take it way more seriously than maybe they should. I don't know. Who knows what's going on with the Blintons? We don't know anything, but to throw an accusation as a senator, it's fucked up.
Speaking of, we don't know anything, since Saturday, the amount of information gathered on Jean-Luc Brunel has been minimal.
Okay.
Minimal. Like, quiet. Just, there's so many unanswered questions. And
I didn't even know he was in custody before before he committed suicide.
Because it was tiny little like, oh, he's so and so good. We were on it. We talked about it the day it happened.
Yeah, I don't listen to the show.
but ever since then,
I knew he was out there, but I didn't know he was in.
Well, we didn't really talk about it much while he was in prison because there wasn't really much to talk about.
Exactly. That's why he was so under the radar. He wasn't the focus of anything.
Yeah, and now it's like, well, are there security cameras? All this stuff that we're wondering, and nobody, from what I could see, has been able to gather up the answers. Like, nobody's talking about this. There's no press conference. There's an investigation underway, but it's being done by the prison itself. I'm sure other authorities are involved in France, but there's no massive FBI, like all the agencies are pooling their resources together to come to the end of
You mean
nothing.
You mean the way they investigated Epstein?
I mean, at least there was something. At least there was.
What was there?
There was questions being asked and answered. There was
everybody's asking questions, but who was answering them?
The people, prisons. At least they were saying like no comment or we don't have an answer yet. Or, there is none of that. None.
I feel
Nothing.
like we're gonna get the same amount of info that we got about Epstein.
I mean, probably by the end of the day, but it's like, you've been a part of all this, Brian Laundrie, Epstein, all these things. There's a hello, I have questions. Here's my questions. Okay, we're not commenting on that or we're saying this. And then there's articles. Well, we spoke to the sheriff or the head investigator and they said no comment. Nothing. Silence.
Doesn't mean there's doesn't mean there's no comments being thrown around.
It is.
It just means they're not reporting on the no comments.
Eerily silent. Eerily silent.
An idiot. All right. Barclays freezes ex-CEO and Epstein associate stock.
Jes. We don't know how to say that.
We'll go with Jess, I guess.
I'm gonna say Jess because Jace kind of sounds cool. I don't want to make this guy sound cool.
Yeah, he's Jess.
Jess Staley. Barclays is withholding shares of his that are worth $29 million. It's their former CEO, Jess Staley, pending the outcome of an investigation by British banking regulators into his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The bank said in its annual report published today that it has suspended bonus and share payments to Staley while regulators probe his links into the financier. Staley owns 9.1 million unvested shares that are subject to performance measures, according to the annual report. Banks, companies, they have to put out these annual reports where they list all their stuff. Mm-hmm. He has another 2.1 million unvested shares that are not subject to performance reviews. Those shares are worth roughly $29 million based on Tuesday's closing price. The American executive owns 6.8 million shares in Barclays outright, and he's got long ties to Epstein. The FCA, Financial Conduct Authority, and the Bank of England's Prudential Regulation Authority are investigating the relationship between the two. The focus is on how Staley characterized the relationship to his employer. Staley left Barclays last year after the bank was told the preliminary conclusions of the investigation. Staley is contesting those findings. So they did the investigation, and this guy wound up leaving, even though he was arguing against the results of what they found. Barclays said today that it had suspended the vesting of the former CEO's shares pending further developments in respect of the regulatory and legal proceedings related to the ongoing investigations. Before he joined Barclays as CEO in December of 2015, Staley worked for more than 30 years at JP Morgan, where he served as head of investments in the banking division. His relationship with Epstein dates back to 2000, when he became the head of JP Morgan's private bank. Staley told reporters in a call in February of 2 years ago, 2020. I lost a whole year there. Can't believe it's 2020.
We all lost a whole year.
That Epstein was already a client. The relationship was maintained during his time at JP Morgan, but as I left Morgan, it tapered off quite significantly. Asked then whether he regretted his relationship with Epstein, Staley said, quote, obviously I thought I knew him well, and I didn't. And for sure, with hindsight of what we all know now, I deeply regret having had any relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, end quote. See? Another apology for the friendship with Epstein. Did you do
Yeah.
something wrong? No. But I want to apologize.
It's well, what do you know, that if anybody who has a relationship with him is going to say, you know, I I'm sorry that I even knew the guy, whether or
Um,
not they were involved in anything.
so Staley told the Barclays board that he had no contact with Epstein since becoming the Barclays CEO. And I guess that's basically what his contention is like, okay, sure, I was palling around with the world's largest pedophile ringleader, but I haven't talked to him since I took this job. So
Oh, well, when
you can't take my money from this job.
right. Okay.
He supposedly will still receive his annual fixed pay worth 2.4 million pounds, which is the equivalent of 3.3 million dollars in US cash. And shares, plus a pension allowance of $164,000 a year and other benefits until October 31st of 2022. The bank said when he stepped down on November 1st, he is also eligible for the cost of relocating to the United States.
It makes me wonder during and after, and now especially now, what all of the names I guess that came up in the Ghislaine trial or didn't come up and are just in the paperwork, shouldn't they be weeded out? Maybe not by, the press might not know about them, but I'm sure the authorities, before things were redacted and not released, they have those names, don't they?
Yeah.
So this makes me think of why more of this isn't happening.
Well, we talk so much about this, it's hard to talk about every single thing on every single episode. But yeah, we have mentioned this before of like this guy was operating, in this way, and where was the money, like the money transactions that were allowed to have, like who are the money people? And this seems like one of the guys. Like this seems like one of the dudes. It's like
Yeah, but the people investigating him are just in their own company. There's no authorities investigating him, right?
correct. Yeah. Because I guess he's probably sitting there going, well, um, Epstein was already a client when I got to JP Morgan, and I got there and I maintained the relationship, and then I left and went on my merry way. I mean, it seems like it could be a very innocent. Again, I'm sure there are
Yeah.
innocent people that had some sort
Not
of
everybody who ran into the guy or took care of his money or whoever
right,
did the gross things that he did.
right. There
I'm
are some
sure he
people that
had
were like that.
I'm sure he had two regular people around him at some point.
You would hope. You might be overshot. Might be a big estimate, but
Maybe.
maybe.
One, should we say one maybe? One person was just like, sold the guy a hot dog at one point.
But
And
again, as like going over all the interactions we know of this guy, like it's hard. Like he was disgusting, even just
oh,
like
absolutely.
even in a social setting. Like he couldn't, like the things he said were kind of like, what
No,
the
he was
fuck?
a gross bastard.
But put
Absolutely.
yourself in their shoes. I mean, how many pieces of shit do these big money people deal with all the time that are kind of like, you're disgusting, like some of the shit that you say. These people with money think they can say and do whatever they want. They don't turn that shit off when they're in business meetings,
Right.
So I don't really know what to think. Obviously this guy's getting paid a ton of money anyway,
Well, hopefully his
but
investigations will either uncover everything or uncover that nothing happened.
well, and that's the thing too. A lot of these types of investigations can lead to other types of investigations from
Sure.
real authorities for,
That would be good.
because we don't know. I mean, who knows? Like, again, it all starts with these things because then it's like, well, is the name on the flight logs, and can
It's a
the
spider web. It's you got
right,
Epstein, and then it's everybody trickling down
right,
that is in some way, shape, or form connected. You know, indirectly, directly. They got to follow every thread. I get it.
100%. 100%. And that's what we'll find out. So Jess Staley will keep our name on it, and we'll see what comes about. Jumpstart Coffee Company, my friend,
Good stuff.
the best. The
Gotta
absolute
get you,
best.
you gotta try a bag. Just give them a whirl, and you won't be disappointed. That's
Can,
it's
can I
great coffee.
can I say has ruined coffee for me? Has
All other
ruined
coffee.
coffee. Hmm?
Yeah. You mean has ruined all other coffees? This is the only one that
Yeah.
that
'Cause
passes muster.
I got this yesterday. You've got to try this coffee, Ann. Okay. So good. Okay. I took a sip of it. I was like, it tastes like tire water. Like, what are you talking about? You
Tire
have,
water.
you have no sense of coffee
Yeah,
essence.
this is good stuff. This isn't a fly by night bag, a mystery bag. This is awesome coffee. And not only that, yeah, you get the awesome coffee, but 50% of what they take in goes right to the vets, right to the Navy SEAL company, which is
Yes.
amazing.
They are amazing.
You're not just buying coffee and that's the end of the transaction. You buy the coffee and then they take half of what you give them, and it goes there. Plus, you use the code below AOA15. You click the link, use the code 15% off right there.
Boom.
Beautiful thing. You throw in if you want to try a bag, you try a bag. You like it, you want to keep going. You do the subscribe and save, and you just get a bag a month delivered to your house. 2 bag, whatever you go through. This bag, this is 12 ounces. This bag, 12 ounces of ground up coffee.
12 ounces of heaven, baby.
Right. You can go through that in a month. You get another one. You don't even have to buy it. You don't have to go shopping for it. It just keeps coming.
Don't listen to Frank. Don't listen to me. I found the comment that I was searching. Well, yeah, I found the comment I was searching for last episode.
Only took you 3 days.
Yeah, it took me 3 days. I was so mad, but I finally found it. Here it is. Hey.
Okay.
Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, I just tried my first cup of Jumpstart coffee. I didn't expect it to arrive as soon as it did, nor at how good this coffee is. The YouTuber's Nomadic Life has excellent coffee, but I have to say this is better. Thank you for sharing Jumpstart. Very nice. I don't know who sent that, but very nice.
I took her name off. It's Christy. Yeah, I don't
There you go.
broadcasting people's like last names and stuff. So
No, you don't. I wasn't expecting you to, but that's a nice comment. Now that was in one of our videos. They commented.
That was in see this Christine. I'm sorry, Christine. Christine C. That was in Instagram, which is
no relation.
That's the problem with no relation. Very good. That's the problem with the world today. We get comments on Instagram posts, Instagram direct messages,
Facebook.
Instagram story comments. Double that all for Facebook, emails into the website,
YouTube,
YouTube videos, Facebook video. Like it's
there's like an unlimited supply of places that comments can go.
I'm not complaining. I love every comment that comes in. We read them all. This is gold. I love Christine's comment. I'm just saying I'm an idiot, and sometimes having 60 different places to go and get feedback can be a little overwhelming for your old pal Ant that he forgets where he saw something.
So as a content creator, there should be one place it all comes
funnels into.
Funnels to.
Tell you the company that
says this came from here. This came from here. This came from here.
I think there are companies that do that, and they charge you like $600 a month just to do it. So it's not exactly in our budget just yet.
I hear you.
But thanks to Jumpstart, of course, as Frank said, click the link in the description below to purchase your coffee. Save 15%. Again, every bit of feedback we get is just like Christine's. They all drink it and they go, holy shit, this is good. They don't expect it to be that good because there are tons of hacks out there hawking shitty products just to make money. You know, it's hard for us to stand out when we do, we do our research and we make sure we find good stuff. You got to do your research. So it's hard. People get a little skeptical. And then when they taste it, they're like, holy shit, these guys weren't lying. Well, there you go. That's why it's great to share the feedback from the fans themselves on Jumpstart Coffee Company.
Agreed. I mean, you could listen to us yap about it all day, but proof's in the pudding, my friends.
Proof's in the pudding and in the comments that we have trouble finding.
The old comment pudding.
Two Manhattan prosecutors leading the Trump Organization probe have resigned today. This is huge breaking news.
Did they give a reason?
So that's the basic. This is the problem with things that happen. They're not talking. So that means that everybody else is talking for them. And we don't know why that they've resigned other than,
we're going to jump into that boat now too.
We are, because what else? What could the assumption be? They're busy. They're getting married.
Why would two? Yeah, why? I understand if one can't continue for whatever reason,
right?
But two at the same exact time seems weird. I don't know what would make two people jump ship.
Well,
in a prosecution though, but I could see like a defense attorney. That's normal. A defense attorney should jump ship for whatever reason, and it causes controversy. I never really. Do you hear of prosecutors jumping ship for just in the middle of stuff?
Only when they're not happy with the direction that the case is going in, and they don't think that they can do their job.
Is that why you think that's why?
Yeah. Well, what else? Like I said, what else would be the reason?
The hell do I know? Maybe they were being intimidated in some way.
So it is Mark.
Oh, it's possible for the Blintons, but not for the Blumps.
No, but I mean, let's be honest. When two prosecutors coordinate a resignation together,
yeah, no, it doesn't look good for the prosecution's case.
It looks like they're being forced to carry on the case when they feel like there's nothing there.
Yeah, but like is that a reason to quit a case because you think you might lose? Like as a prosecutor, you still go to
no. The reason is it's so absurdly ridiculous that you're being
that there's not even a case kind of thing.
There's no this is close. There's no if a prosecutor's going and going, this is a coin toss. I don't know if we're gonna get this or not. I think they still go for it. When it's like there's no remote chance this is happening. That's when they're like, why are we? Or if they're constantly being told to investigate, and everything that they're coming up with is nothing.
Right.
So here's the story. Mark Pomerantz and Carrie Dunn both resigned. Carrie Dunn, Dunne, both resigned today. A source told the New York Post that the prosecutors jointly stepped down, stressing that the coordinated nature of the departures was a sign of intense frustration with the direction of the case. A DA spokeswoman, Danielle Filson, said in a statement, "We are grateful for their service, but declined to comment any further." The investigation is into former President Donald Trump's launch. The investigation into former President Donald Trump was launched in 2018 under then DA Cyrus Vance, who charged the Trump Organization and its longtime chief financial officer, Alan Weisberg, with
That's an awesome name, by the way. Cyrus Vance.
Cyrus Vance is good.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
All right. So they started the case in 2018.
Vance. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Vance convened another grand jury before new district attorney Alvin Bragg took over in January. Dunn, who joined the office in 1984, served as Vance's general counsel, had overseen the investigation from the outset, successfully arguing before the U.S. Supreme Court for Trump's tax records. Pomerantz, a former federal prosecutor in Manhattan and criminal defense attorney, was brought on by Vance last year to join the probe. Neither immediately returned messages from the press. The New York Times broke this story, first reporting the move, saying that it came after Bragg suggested to the attorneys that they had doubts about moving forward. Prosecutors had been questioning witnesses before the grand jury for about a month, up till about a month ago, essentially stopping the investigation, according to the New York Times. So supposedly, according to the Times, they haven't been questioning witnesses in about a month.
Okay. I don't know how investigations run. I don't know if that's normal or not.
I don't think it's normal.
Okay.
Criminal defense attorney Ron Fischetti, who represents Trump and his company, told the Post that the resignations coming. Told the Post he saw the resignations coming and was, quote, happy with the development while maintaining his client's innocence.
Okay. Hey, they said they were unhappy with the direction that the investigation was going.
Mm-hmm.
could be just a conflict, like internal struggle. Like I want to go this way with the thing. I'm just saying, there's more than one way to read into that. It could be that there's nothing there and there's no point in doing this investigation, which very well could be. Or it could be it's not going, like we're trying to control this investigation. Someone else is telling us to go this way. We disagree. What is it? Conflict of not interest, but like professional conflict. What is that called? I don't know. When you disagree with your boss is telling you to go in one direction, you want to take it in a different direction,
Yeah.
and you can't come together.
Yeah. My brain is empty, just as empty as yours. I know what you're talking about.
I can't think of it, but it could be that. It could be that there's nothing there. Who knows?
I don't know. But I do know that Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, is also investigating something similar. And there's like 400 other investigations into Trump right now. So,
all right. So this one, maybe this one doesn't have something.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like it's much ado about nothing. I remember the Trump family talking about the thing that they got Weiss, whatever the guy's name is, on a tax thing with his car or something, or some weird shit. I don't know. But again, I said a lot of this during Trump's presidency. All we heard was whispers and this and that and investigations and grand juries and indictments and blah, blah, blah. And nothing ever came down. Nothing has come down. Nothing has happened. All these Twitter geniuses with it's this going to be the end. He's got to have to resign and he's going to have to do this and he's going to be arrested and he's this and that and that. To date, nothing has happened.
Bunch of stuff has happened, just not to him.
Yeah, and everybody acts
lots
like
of people went to jail. Lots of people were indicted. Just not him.
True. But
so they investigated. They got a lot of bad people, a lot of bad players. Just for some reason, he keeps skating by.
Could it be because he's not done anything wrong?
It could be, but
I mean,
but when everybody else around him and underneath him and working for him is going to jail.
Yeah, I'm not defending the guy. I'm just saying maybe he's just a shitty television personality that, cut corners on his tax returns and shit like that. And
that should be enough.
Could be that. I mean,
well, okay.
That's not something you put people in jail for necessarily. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not investigating, so I have no idea.
Yeah. That being said, I'll turn it back around the other way. The whole interview where
it boggles my mind how anybody can hear this and think this is my guy. This is the guy I want to run America. It boggles my mind. I don't get it.
You seem very hot about this one. How do you want to handle? Do you want me to play the clip? Do you want to talk about it first?
Play it. Play it so people know what we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Let me play it. Let me play it this way. Yeah, this was on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. How about that for a name? Buck Sexton, everybody.
That is a porn name if I've ever heard one.
Cyrus, what was the other guy's name? Cyrus what? Oh. Davis? I forgot already.
Oh no, it was a good one.
Yeah. Let's get Cyrus Davis and Buck Sexton in a room together and see what's what.
Yeah, those are good names.
I can't help the fact of thinking that Buck Sexton was named in the same day or so as Dirk Diggler. I'm just saying.
Buck naked.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, they were the ones who took over for Rush Limbaugh. They took Rush Limbaugh's spot. So again, got to be ultra conservative and do that whole thing. So President Trump was on there, miraculously not on the phone. Felt like a Zoom Skype sort of situation because his voice was pretty clear. But anyway, it's a 1 minute 39-second clip. I'll play it all the way through. Do you want me to stop it? We'll see.
Play it all the way through.
All right. Frank's in charge of this segment here, so here it is.
I don't have to be in charge of this.
Said that they are recognizing two breakaway regions of Ukraine, and now this White House is stating that this is an invasion. That's a strong word. What went wrong here? What has the current occupant of the Oval Office done that he could have done differently?
Well,
Should we stop before? Can
Yeah,
I jump in?
Because go ahead.
Okay, because this has nothing to do with Trump. This just has to do with the current climate of media bullshit. Like they're going to they're Putin says, "Hey, these two Putin, who has lined up just tanks and he has done everything but blow anything up," which is actually not even true because I saw a TikTok was really alarming of
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what he's done, and
Well,
I thought he went in already in one spot, but he didn't. I don't think I think he's just there, and he's very poised and ready to go.
right. I saw a TikTok of some bombs landing in Ukraine, and it was very alarming. But anyway, that's besides the point. So whether he's in or not, the fact that the first real move of this takeover, war, invasion, whatever, was him saying, "Hey, these two regions are free, independent places, and they have nothing to worry about because those regions are filled with Russian people. They're just filled with Russian people that live in the Ukraine, you know."
Yeah,
And so
once you take over Ukraine, it's not like what are they going to be their own little? They're going to fall in line anyway. It doesn't matter.
No, correct, but the thing is Putin, for as much as a monster as he is, can't be seen as out there blowing up his own people to take over some. You know what I'm saying? So he does this because it's like, I'm not going to blow up Russian people living in Ukraine. So these two areas are fine. He did that to ease everybody in those two spots. Basically saying, I'm not going to kill my own people to do this. It's more about taking what's back. I'm saying this is what he's saying. It's taking back what belongs to Russia, and he's not going to kill his own people to do that. So basically, he came out and said these two regions are fine, no big deal. This ass fuck, I don't even know if that's Clay Travis or Bucks. I don't know which one it is. Turns around and says that the Biden administration miscategorized it as an invasion. I mean, this is like, think about every other major war and the little tiny insignificant thing that happened right before everything got blown up. And they all go, well, that was the first thing. Well, this is the first fucking thing. What's the difference? What you fucking call it? This is like people that argue about, is January 6th an insurrection, or is it this, or is it that? Bullshit. Either shitty stuff was done or not. Doesn't matter what you categorize or call it. And I fucking hate the media. They're awful, especially fucking radio people. Go ahead.
Hey,
Sorry.
Here's my point. So he asked a question about what they call them what could President Biden have done differently or whatever, and what went wrong. And right away, his answer you will see, it will be nothing to do with the current situation. It'll be how he was screwed out of an election.
Current occupant of the Oval Office done that he could have done differently?
well, what went wrong was a rigged election. And what went wrong is a candidate that shouldn't be there and a man that has no concept of what he's doing. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army tanks than I've ever seen. They're going to keep peace all right. No, but think of it. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well. Very, very well. By the way, this never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable. This would never have happened. But here's a guy that says, I'm going to declare a big portion of Ukraine independent. He used the word independent. And we're going to go out and we're going to go in and we're going to help keep peace. You got to say that's pretty savvy. And you know what the response was from Biden? There was no response. They didn't have one for that. Now it's very sad.
What a piece of shit. I'm sorry, but when you praise a dictator for invading a peaceful country and doing it he's savvy and he's brilliant, a genius is what he said. Not brilliant. He said genius. Excuse me. So when he does that and says, "Oh, we could use that kind of thinking in here in America," there's something wrong with that, and there's something wrong when people look at that and hear that and think, "Wow, this guy should be running our country." If he likes what Putin's doing, invading a country for no other reason than to just build up his land and just take over a country. Well, yeah, that should be that should be our leader. That's our leader should be the guy praising this guy. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And he doesn't even he takes every opportunity when he talks about Putin or any of these dictators. He never, in the 5 years leading up to the election, 6 years leading up to the election, his presidency, and to now, or what is it? Till now, 7 years. He's never said a negative thing about Putin. I've never heard a negative thing. Not, he's a bad guy, and he got to watch himself because we're gonna mess with him, and everybody's gonna be in the comments. Oh, he put sanctions on him. He took meaningless sanctions that did nothing. That's all he did to show like, oh, you see, I'm tough on him. I'm tough, but no, he praises him. He kisses his ass, and this is who you want to lead America, a guy who kisses Putin's ass. It infuriates me that people look at this guy and think that's what we want.
So I have an opinion on this. Obviously, I have a take on this. But before I share that, I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think that there was truth to the one part that he said that this wouldn't have happened if he was in office?
No. Why? What would he have done differently? He would have kissed his ass. He would say, I think what he's doing is smart. I'm probably going to do the same thing to Greenland. They won't. I wanted to buy Greenland, but they wouldn't sell it to me. So maybe I just invade.
Well, here's the thing with that, though. Trump, not my words, although I do agree, was viewed as a tougher person, tougher president.
Tougher,
I mean,
in what arena?
In willing to go the distance to stop whatever is happening, and
what
to be fair, most Republicans are. It's that daddy mommy complex. When we want to be coddled and cuddled, and we want things to be better, we go to a Democrat. We go to mommy.
Stopped jack shit.
And when we need toughness in the world and we need somebody to stand up for something or whatever, we go to daddy, we go to the Republican. That's typically what happens.
There's toughness, and then there's being a jackass on the world stage and being a bully and pushing people, our friends, around and thinking, and buddying up with Putin and Kim Jong-un, all those other dictators, and then taking your friends and your allies and treating them like shit and making them think we're all assholes.
Also, am I the only one who craves French fries covered in cheese and gravy when we talk about Vladimir Putin? Because that's just
Poutine.
It's all I can think about. It's just a delicious bowl of poutine.
Better. That would cheer me up a little.
When I think about all the rage that Vladimir Putin causes, and I think about all the love that poutine causes, it's amazing that they're both spelled the same. But
you can't associate the two.
They're like the yin and yang. It's just the opposite.
One's a piece of shit, and the other one is a heavenly plate of awesomeness.
Just awesomeness. Thanks, Canada. I feel like we don't thank Canada enough for poutine, and I think we should do it every single episode. And I'm going to seriously think about instituting that policy on this podcast.
I'm fine with that. I'd love a nice plate of poutine right now.
Yeah, we'll just dedicate 2.5 minutes every episode to talking about how much we're grateful for the fact that Canada exists and gave us poutine.
Hey, I'm in.
Anyway,
for me with a good time.
Anyway, so here's the thing with that though, so Trump was president for 4 years, and Vladimir Putin didn't do this in those 4 years.
Okay.
Why is he doing it now?
He didn't do it last year when Biden was president either. He didn't do it when Obama was president. What's your point? He's doing it now. I don't know.
I think people felt more like Trump is a wild card, and there's no telling what he'll do or what lengths he'll go to, or where he'll put the U.S. might, the U.S. forces, and to stop or do or whatever. And Biden is not that kind of a guy. He's not that kind of nobody thinks of Biden as a strong, controlling character.
He ended the 20-year war.
He did.
Was it perfect? No. But it's over.
Right.
Got our troops out and ended.
But
the
that's
war.
not stopping
That's
somebody. That's not
stopping
going.
a war.
But that's not going head to head with somebody. He basically was retreating. He was pulling out, which was a brave thing to do. I think he did. Trump promised he would do it, and Trump didn't do it. Biden did it. So I give him credit. I give him full marks there, even though it wasn't done well. I don't think it would have been done well on any scale. It was going to be a hard thing to do anyway. And I think the blame needs to be placed where it needs to be placed. You could blame Obama a little bit, and you can blame George W. Bush, who was really to blame for that whole mess.
Biden went on TV and said, "This buck stops with me."
Yeah,
he said, "I take full responsibility."
But we're getting
for
off.
everything.
We're getting off topic, which is: do you think honestly that Putin would have tried this if Trump was still in office?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I think there's some truth to that.
That I have no idea. Sure, there is.
I think there's some truth to that I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying Trump's 1,000% right, but I'm saying it's easier to play this hand against Biden than it is against Trump.
I think if Putin was going to try it while Trump was in office, I don't think Trump would have put up much of a fight.
Yeah, I
don't think he would have. He would have threatened him. He may have threw a couple of sanctions to show good faith. We'll be tough with Russia. They don't want to come up against me.
Yeah.
And then he'll put up a couple of sanctions, and then he wouldn't. I don't think he would go to bat for Ukraine.
It's true, because at the end, and believe me, my take is coming. I didn't forget it. I got it. But it is true. Because I think underlying under all of this, because I feel like people are gonna be like, oh, Trump would have blew that place to smithereens. Like, I think underlying in all of this is nobody really gives a shit, sadly. And nobody wants to see two huge powers go at it over something like this. Nobody wants to see Ukraine taken over, but also at the same token, nobody really wants to see this thing be the thing that elevates and gets out of control. And next thing is we're into another 12, 15, 18 year.
Nobody wants to see that. Of course not.
Nobody wants to see that, really.
No. And I just had a point. I went right out of my head.
Sorry.
Oh, look what he did with in Syria. He abandoned our allies. Trump, when he bombed Syria, he fucked with the Kurds. That's our friends, and he totally fucked them over. So why would he give a shit about Ukraine?
I don't know. Here's my take on this whole thing. He's right.
Who?
Trump.
About?
But what he said was right, was correct. It was a savvy move. I wouldn't call him a genius, but it was a savvy move, again, to say, hey, these two areas are going to be okay.
How is that savvy?
And then, well, let me finish.
Everybody sees right through it.
Well,
go ahead. Go ahead.
He's not wrong. Putin took the one issue Putin had with taking over this country is these two territories, and him coming out and saying, hey, they're independent, kind of putting all those people at ease. Smart move, with peacekeeping, up on the border. Like he's from a tactical military standpoint, he's doing all the right things. Trump's not wrong. Where I have my issue at what?
I disagree.
Okay. Well, you're wrong. So.
Oh, okay.
He's right. Here's where my issue is, and I would love to hear from the Trump supporters. Honestly, I would love to hear them to tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm not. By the way,
you're wrong.
In case you're curious, Frank, get ready. 100% right here.
Oh, good.
Trump's not wrong. Everything he said was right. What he said should be left for people like you and I, Hannity, Don Lemon, whatever. It's for the pundits. It's for us to talk about. It's not for the former president to discuss, and it's not for the potential candidate for 2024 to discuss yet. Because where I think that Trump was wrong, big time, is he's putting himself over country again, which is what his issue.
Not on brand.
Which is what his issue was with January 6th, with the election itself, him leaving and not being at the Biden inauguration. These are all things that I think real conservatives, not crazy Trumpers, real conservatives don't like about him.
And that was just in the last month of his presidency.
This is a big problem of his. People like the bravado. They like the ego. They like that he doesn't kowtow to political correctness and left-wing media. But this other little, he just goes a smidge too far all the time. He's putting himself above country. This is a United States issue. This is not a Democrat versus Republican issue. This is serious shit. And if somebody asks the former president, no matter how wrong he feels he is with the election and all the things going on in the world, his answer should be, listen, I stand with the United States of America. I may disagree with our president on how he handles things. I may be mad at him for rigging the last election, but I stand by him and what he plans on doing.
Yeah, it should be that.
That's what should be done. Nobody in this country, we can question, we can debate. I'm not saying that. That is all well and good. But at the end of the day, he should know this, because when you're in that fucking chair, there's nobody that knows more than you. Biden and him, when he was in it, they have all the latest intel, information. There's shit that they cannot say out loud. And you know that. And then you have some asshole who's criticizing you, and you sit there and you go, well, if I just said everything, I could shut this guy out. But God knows what sort of jeopardy I'm putting people in, as the situation, our troops and everything else is escalating. So I have to shut the fuck up now. This guy's out there being an asshole. Usually that's reserved for members of Congress. But in this particular case, it was Trump. And I think that Trump was really wrong in saying what he said. What he said was not incorrect. It was tactically savvy maneuvers by somebody who's about to do something really bad. But it's not his fucking place to say. He should just say, listen, I may have handled things different. I may have done this or that, but we have to be together on this issue, because Putin needs to be stopped. And we have to make sure that us and our ally countries are getting to, and I know it's a canned response, and we all love Trump because he says whatever he feels off the top of his head. But again, you're talking about a serious situation here where people are going to die.
He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't
about
care.
that.
He cares about himself more than the other things. And I think that is the one chink in his armor that can take him down when it comes to the fact that he might have to face a real strong conservative in the primaries. That could be an issue with him. That's what Pence can turn around and be like, I wouldn't do that to this guy. I put the country first over me, and he doesn't know how to. He's making himself vulnerable, and he doesn't see it, and I think it's a mistake for him.
Yeah, but the sad part is people hear that and go, oh, Trump. Now, why do you think there's so many Trump flags alongside or in place of American flags? Because people, for some reason, follow this guy like he's their friggin', they're the second coming, like he's like he's infallible. They follow him into, but even though he can give a shit about you.
Now, how right am I? Look at you. You're all on my side now.
You're not right about Putin. I think what he did is just throw a line of bullshit out there that no one's buying except Trump. Trump is like, oh yeah, it's very savvy, very genius.
No, the people in that area are buying it. They're walking around going, "Oh, thanks." I was worried.
Doesn't mean shit though. He's going to tell them if he's invading them.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to. But even if he were going to,
no, he doesn't need to invade them. Is what I'm saying. Nobody in those regions is going to put up a fight for him.
That's fine, but it doesn't mean anything. If you're invading, let's say, as an example. If you're invading
New Jersey,
United States, and he goes, the people of New Jersey can rest easy. You're going to be fine. What does that matter when you're taking over the entire United States?
Well, the scumbags in New Jersey would be like, oh, we'll help you.
So he's dividing up the country into people who can give a shit.
I'm not saying what he did was good. I'm just saying it was a bad man is doing something that is tactically correct in order to do his bad thing. I don't want to say it's a good thing. It's bad. I wish he wouldn't do it, but he found a way around a touchy issue that would prevent him from doing this bad thing successfully.
Maybe, but what he's also doing doesn't make a difference to anyone outside of the Ukraine. Like if he said whatever he says, we don't have to work. We don't have to. Let's not send troops to defend this place because we don't. He's not fooling anyone when he says stuff like this. Like he's not trying to, like if he wanted to tell everybody, oh, listen, we're trying to do this a diplomatic way, and we're not gonna invade here because they're peaceful. They're on our. It's like, no, we're not listening to you.
You're distracting from the fact that I'm 1,000% right. And I'm going to give everybody time, a couple of days, especially my Trump-loving friends, to disagree. I want to hear why I'm wrong because I'm 1,000% right.
Because it doesn't take a savvy person to say I'm not invaded a place. You're
missing the whole thing.
It's not savvy.
You're missing the whole thing.
That's the thing you're saying.
It is, but it's inconsequential. I'm talking more about the fact of here is a person that cannot put his country first before him.
That's the other,
and that's why he's wrong.
Trump is wrong, but I'm saying
right. And I want to hear the Trump fans disagree with me because he's not wrong. What he said was correct, but he shouldn't say it. It should not come from him.
This is like when he's not wrong.
This is like when he was president and all the crazy people. There's thousands of little countries out there that do all sorts of crazy shit. They come up in little stories and we talk about them a little here and there. But if he were to respond to something, if the president of the United States was to respond to the little country and the little dictator in the little country that's causing a problem, you're putting shark teeth in his mouth. You're giving him credence. He doesn't do that. What happens? The Secretary of State responds, or somebody else gives a response. It's why we have proportionate responses. Him doing this is incorrect. He wouldn't have done it if he was president. Give a disproportionate response. He let Mike Pompeo or Bolton or whoever else handle some of those things.
If he were president, he would have said exactly what he said today. He would have went out on whatever.
But that's different. If he's president, I'm fine. Like if he's president.
And if he's president and said, well, I think what Vladimir Putin's doing is savvy and he's a genius.
Well, that would be wrong for a different reason. But he could say whatever he wants.
What makes you say he would say anything different?
But he can say whatever he wants because he's the guy making the call in that particular instance.
He can't say whatever he wants.
In this particular instance, it is, I think, again, I feel it is his responsibility as a former president and a future candidate, again, to put country above himself. And he cannot do that.
He can't. It's himself always.
That's why he's wrong. What he said wasn't wrong.
Yes, it is.
He's wrong.
He's wrong. And what he said is wrong.
No, what he said was
Putin
right.
Putin is not a genius for this whole thing.
Again, I don't know if I would have used the word genius, but it was a savvy move.
It's not a savvy move to say I'm not invading a spot that doesn't need me to invade it. How is that savvy?
Because he
doesn't do anything. It's still an invasion.
Because people were wondering what's going to happen with the eastern portion of Ukraine, which is very pro-Russian, and he eliminated that fear.
It's still an invasion, though. That's again like saying
you're having a hard time because he's doing a bad thing, and he did something that was
so
smart
he made
do the bad thing. You can't separate the fact that it's a bad thing, it's all wrong.
It's all right. That's true. But what I'm saying is he took something that is 100% wrong and made it 100% wrong, but made the last 3% maybe a tiny bit easier. That's all he did. And it doesn't do anything except eliminate a small portion of the Ukraine from going, oh, okay, we don't have to worry. That's all it does.
What you're saying is that bad people can't do intelligent things, which is
no, it's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this doesn't do anything intelligent. This doesn't show any intelligence. It just shows that he's trying to.
Again, it doesn't show genius. I agree, but he did eliminate a problem that he had.
Yes. It's not even a problem. It wasn't a problem anyway.
It is a problem for his people. He's a dictator in Russia, correct? Russians, I don't think Russians probably put up with a lot of shit from him because they feel like whatever, it's, They're living their lives. They can't do what they can't rise above this or that. People will go along with a lot of bullshit just because they can't be bothered. If he is brutally killing Russian people that just happen to live on the other side of this imaginary line, that does not bode well for him and holding on to control of that country.
Yeah.
That could potentially lead to problems for him. Do you agree?
Sure.
He solved that problem for himself.
Whoop-de-doo.
I know you're not impressed.
No, you're giving him too much credit for doing something he was never going to do anyway.
I think I'm giving him the appropriate amount of credit. You're acting like I'm saying he's not a genius, but he solved the problem.
He solved the problem by not invading his own people. No one's going to do that. Why would he do that anyway?
Oh, no, I think you're giving it. Well, people were wondering how he was going to get around it. And he turned around and said, oh, these areas are independent. Nobody was calling these areas independent nations. They're calling them the Ukraine. He basically said,
yeah, but it's his own people.
It's bullshit. But what he's saying is it's the Ukraine that is oppressing these independent regions. These are independent countries that should be treated as such. And the Ukraine is claiming them as their own. And that's wrong. And that's why we're going to go. He's flipping the script on Ukraine. It's bullshit, but he's doing it. It's what he's selling to his people. You think Castro was great? Like, he did the same shit. This is dictator stuff that he's doing.
What makes you think they're buying it anyway? They see it's Putin. It's not like they trust the guy.
I don't know if they fear. They don't care. They don't
care. If we're in New York. If Jersey was being invaded, and they say we're going to leave New York alone, you wouldn't care.
No, listen, we went into Iraq and Afghanistan, and a lot of people in this country for a long time were like, eh. It was years before we were like, holy shit, this is really bad.
I think once someone does stupid things, to call any part of it savvy is giving him too much credit. You could say that.
I disagree with you.
I think no. Plus, not only that, that's not my whole point. My whole point is that just saying I'm not invading the people who support me is not a savvy move. It's a dictator move that why would he do that anyway? He's narrowing his field, sure. But why would he invade a place that has his support anyway? It doesn't make any sense. Anybody would have probably done the same thing.
But for him to act like, first of all, there's no problem in the Ukraine. These areas in the Ukraine don't care that they're part of the Ukraine. For him to turn around and be like, how dare the Ukraine want to control? He's blaming the Ukraine for doing what he's about to do.
So why is that savvy and not just him being a dick and making something up? That's not savvy.
He is being a dick, but he could have just gone in and blown it all up and taken it over.
So
he didn't do that.
Yeah, I know, but all he's trying to do is justify it.
He found a better way to be a dick.
It's not even a better way. That's my point. My point is he's just trying to justify it, and even that is a bad attempt. It's not like he's convincing anybody. He's just saying, all right, I'm not going to invade you guys, but I'm going to go here. It's like, great. You're still doing something terrible, and it's not easing anybody's tensions because you, like, let's say
he's not interested in easing tensions. He's interested in getting the Ukraine back into Russia.
So what does
he's going to take these?
So what does that have to do with anything then?
He's going to take these two independent nations, and eventually he's going to be like, oh, they want to join us, so here we go, and that's what he's going to do.
So he could have done that anyway.
Yeah, but he would have had to blow up more stuff. He's got to blow up less stuff now.
Well, he blows up less stuff.
It's smart. It's a smarter move.
Not that smart. It's really not.
It may not be that smart, but it is a smarter move.
Great.
It is the lesser of two evils.
I think you're giving way too much credit to this guy.
I have tried. I mean, how could I put this? So if he's in a meeting with his cabinet or whatever, and they're like, well, we could just blow it all up in this, or we have this idea if we call these people independent and we act like we're freeing them. And he goes, oh, that one. You don't have to give him a ton of credit and call him a genius. I agree, but you got to be like, okay, well, he did the right one, even though he's doing a shitty thing.
Right. It's still not who cares?
Like, you just can't get around it because it's bad.
It doesn't make a difference in the end. He's not going to invade the countries surrounding Ukraine. because they have nothing to do with it. Is that savvy?
No, well, no, but it's the area in between the Ukraine and the Russia. It's not
Okay.
like it's like on the other side, or it doesn't matter. It's right there.
Great.
All right, moving on.
So, what does that have to do with anything? It doesn't. He's still invading, and it doesn't matter if this place is left alone or not, because it's still huge Russia invading little Ukraine and saying we're going to take you over. So, all right, this place here, we'll go around you. It's like great.
It's not a dumb thing to do. It's a smart thing to do.
Smart.
It's
It's just it's a thing to do.
The point is he could have just rolled through these areas with tanks and shit and
He
and
would still
killed
have
people and done some horrible things. He's not doing that.
to. Okay, so you're giving him credit. You're giving him credit for not doing something terrible.
There has to be some kind of credit.
No, there doesn't. You're giving him credit for seeing a chance to do something terrible and not doing it. That's what you're. That's. Does that make sense?
Trying to think what I could equate this to. I don't want to go to one area where
So he's doing this one big terrible thing. Okay, he decides not to do this terrible thing here, but he's still doing this big terrible thing, and you're giving him credit for not doing this little piece.
it's not like I'm not showering him with praise. I'm
You're
just saying
it's smart, it's savvy.
in the journey of his shitty thing that I don't agree with, that I would hope he doesn't do.
Listen, I think you should just move to Russia.
I feel like I'm talking to my family now.
It just doesn't make sense to me that you wouldn't immediately jump to this guy's a lunatic and it's not smart what he's doing because he's going to create huge problems. Why would we praise him in any way?
Of course, goes without saying.
Why would you compliment him in any way, no matter
It's
what
not
he's doing?
it's not because
Saying he did something smart is a compliment.
okay, because war and the world is an ugly place sometimes, and you have to be realistic. And sometimes shitty people do smart things to go on and do their shitty fucking stuff. If you look at the amount of crafty things that Hitler did to do the worst thing that you could think about, he did a lot of that. He did a lot of that with passports and the organization. You can't say the Nazis weren't an organized group of people. Their organization was probably second to none. That they still did the worst possible fucking thing in the world.
But you're saying that Putin choosing not to do something horrendous is smart.
No,
because
what you're
he's letting
saying
you-
is that shitty people can't do things
That's not
well.
what I'm saying.
Shitty people do things well all the time.
I'm not saying he didn't get to where he is because he didn't, he's not, doing what he can to get higher and, and create all his power. But what I'm saying is when he does something huge and shitty, you can't say, oh, he's not doing this little shitty thing. So let's say he's smart.
All right, let me ask you a question. This is the topic that's going to sink us. That's going to make
This
us
is
not get to
unbelievable.
anything.
Can we agree to disagree and move on?
Yes, we will. But let me ask you.
Oh, we will.
Give you this,
But let me.
I'll give you this one last thing. One last thing. Can you agree that a serial killer can be intelligent
Sure.
in how he evades the police and the
Yes.
authorities and continues to go on and do horrible things?
Yes.
Can you agree that he has to outsmart the people that are investigating him, the police, in order to continue to go and stay out of their reach and do horrible things?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same.
It's not because it's not a huge smart thing. It's a thing he's doing, sure, and it's sparing some people and some a small place that could be involved in the war or whatever's going to happen. But he's still taking it's still going to affect them, and he's just basically taking the 100% thing he's doing and taking it down to 99%. It's not making that much of a difference, and it doesn't take a lot of intelligence to say I'm not going to invade this place that
I get it. I do understand where you're coming from. You're not.
it's the last part that's the most important. That you're missing. The last part is that It doesn't take a lot of genius or smarts to say, I'm not going to invade a place that supports me.
You're saying that any
That's a
person in that
no-brainer.
any person in that position would have made the same call as what you're saying, and he doesn't.
Any
deserve the
person
credit.
that can get to that position.
Would have made the same call.
I think so.
And I okay, well, that's where we disagree, because I think that he gets the credit, just the same way that the president of the United States gets the credit for all the good things that happens during his watch and gets the blame for all the bad things. And that's, let's be honest, that's why Trump is out. Not because the election was rigged, but because COVID happened on his watch and he gets the blame for it. People just wanted something different, and that was
Right.
it.
I'm not saying Putin doesn't do, crafty things, whatever. He's obviously came into power because he has some kind of ability. But what I'm saying is, I think how this all started and where it's branched off is that it started with Trump calling Putin a genius. That's the headline.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is, Trump never said a bad thing about Putin. And anytime he's asked about Putin or quotes or says anything even remotely involved with Putin, it's, I admire him, I want to be friends with him. I think we should, it's, and every other leader, even our friends, our alliances. Oh, he's this, he's that. He's he has all these nicknames for people, and he's making fun of them on the world stage, and he's calling them this name and that name. But Putin, he's like his best friend. So I don't understand. But everybody says Biden is in Putin's pocket. And meanwhile, Biden is on TV and saying everything like we've got to shut him down. This is a bad guy. We can't let him do this.
I'll tell
But
you,
no, but
Biden-
Trump doesn't say a bad thing about him, and everybody's like, "Oh no, it's Biden. It's Biden."
Biden fucked up by not taking questions at that press event. I don't think he was scheduled to take questions.
Okay.
Which is what a lot of people don't understand. I keep explaining this to people. There's photo ops, there's press scrums, there's press conferences. They're all on a schedule. You know what I mean? You can't
Sometimes
just shout
they come out and say what they have to say. That's
right.
it.
But a lot of times the president of the United States, even though not scheduled, will walk over to a press scrum and answer questions.
Sure.
He should have answered some questions. He should have at least said, a really good leader would have said, listen, he would have given a generic politician's response. Obviously, this isn't good. We're keeping an eye on it. We're working with our allies in the region to see what we can do.
Isn't that basically what he said?
But he didn't answer questions in that one. They were doing a photo op and he wouldn't take questions, and people were shouting questions, and now they're criticizing him for that. And that's what Trump said at the end of the thing. He didn't have an answer. It is kind of your job as president to have an answer. Doesn't have to be a good one, but it should be an answer.
Yeah, but then there was a period of time, and everybody forgets that Trump completely eliminated press conferences for months.
I agree.
So what the fuck are we talking about here?
I just said that. I can't remember who I was talking to, but they were like, "Oh, that son of a bitch, he can't even answer a question." And I go, "This is the same guy you're talking about who literally said, I can't handle the press and I'm not going to have press conferences." And that went on for, months, a year. I don't even remember how long that went on for.
I don't think it was a year, but it was definitely months. At least, I don't know how many, 3, 4. I don't remember the number.
Right.
But it was months.
Yeah.
That I forget her name, didn't come out and answer one question.
You're right.
There was dust collecting on the podium.
You're right about that. Ivanka Trump is in talks to cooperate with Congress's January 6th panel and support their investigation into her father, former President Donald Trump, and his actions during the Capitol riots. According to the New York Times, during the insurrection, Ivanka and several other aides unsuccessfully tried to convince Trump to call off the rioters and end the violence. This included many people at Fox News as well. The result was over 150 police officers being injured, some severely, 5 people being dead. Committee aides remain unsure of whether or not Ivanka will actually provide substantive testimony and information, or whether she's just trying to delay her response to a January letter requesting she give voluntary testimony.
I think it doesn't matter with her. I don't care if we hear from her or not. We know the correspondence between her, that she was trying to intervene, at least a little. What I want to see, I want Trump to answer these questions. I want him to be questioned by the committee. He's a civilian now. He's not the president. He should be brought in and questioned. This involved him 100%. was his thing that he could have came in earlier and said, "Everybody stop! This is madness. You have to stop. We're calling in National Guard. You stand down, go home." But 4 hours later, he was, "Oh, we love you, but go home. We love you. Go home." After all the madness happened, so I don't. One thing I don't understand is why this is taking so long. I get they have to investigate, have to go through everything, but I think it's pretty straightforward what happened for the most part. I'm sure there's inner things that we don't know about. I get that. But from the surface, things appeared pretty straightforward, at least in the governmental side of it. There was a rally going on. Trump said, "We're going to walk down to the Capitol. I'm going to be there with you." Of course, he wasn't there with them because he was back in the White House, but so the rioters went. Giuliani said we would take it by force. They're saying Mike Pence. They were shouting, "Hang Mike Pence!" They broke windows. Someone got killed. People died after the fact from injuries. People were injured all over the place. Cops were injured. I mean that we saw all that unfold on. There's documentaries. There's everything we saw unfold on TV. We saw it all. It wasn't CGI. It was exactly.
Well, how do we know it
happened.
wasn't CGI? Hollywood's done some amazing things.
Yeah, so then we can't trust anything.
I just saw a movie where Godzilla destroyed the Empire State Building. What's your response to that?
I think the Empire State Building had it coming. Godzilla he's a genius, and the fact that he avoided the Chrysler Building was a great move. Very savvy on Godzilla's part to avoid the Chrysler Building. He went right for the.
See, people wonder why I'm friends with you. You're an asshole, but you're a funny asshole.
Thank you.
One of the spokespeople, by the way, before people jump all over the New York Times bit, one of the spokespeople for Ivanka confirmed that she is in discussions with the committee voluntarily to appear for an interview.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I do think this is a big deal because nobody from the Trump family really ever break rank. And the rumors have been for a long time that Ivanka was unhappy, especially since this day, with what her dad did and everything that happened. I still don't think that she'll go against him. I don't think that'll ever happen. Maybe this is just a play to kind of keep things off at bay. Again, you wonder about why is this taking so long? Well, because she can drag this on for 3 months if she needs to. They just
subpoena people. Hey, come in on this date. That's the end of it.
Well, they don't want to get to that point, and they'll give people the benefit of the doubt, and that's usually what takes a lot of time. That's what runs the clock up a bit.
I feel like with something this huge, I mean, anyway, if it was a bank robbery and no one got hurt, I get it. You get people involved, the witnesses. You take your time a little bit, I guess.
So
this is not that.
I don't know what her play is here, but I think the fact that she is even talking to these people is interesting. I do think that that's interesting.
I think it was going to come down to that eventually anyway. And I think she's trying to come out. It's a little, maybe I'm just spitballing. Maybe it's her trying to show some kind of good faith.
Maybe
saying, I want to, I'm willing to testify. Let's bring it on. Kind of an attitude.
Could be
instead of being asked to come in, which is a little more humiliating.
She is the most intelligent out of that whole clan. Out of all the Trump offspring, it's her.
I think she's smarter than him too.
I don't disagree with that. I don't think
she's brilliant. I think she speaks coherently. I'll give her that.
I'm not expecting you to put her up on a pedestal, but out of Eric and Junior,
she's the smarter of the three.
She's the brains of the outfit. Yeah,
absolutely. Sure.
And I got to tell you, I'm surprised she gives her dope husband. Like, I'm surprised she's okay with her shitty husband getting as much credit as he does, because she's smarter than him. I mean, he might be the dumbest one out of that whole fucking clan.
Which, he had like a major role in the government when he was there, when Trump was there. He was like in charge of a million things for some reason.
Yeah.
And we never hear from him anymore.
He's an idiot. I mean, that guy hasn't done anything right in his entire life. He's run every business he's gotten into the ground. He's only known because his dad was a big deal. And
Really hire the best people who bring in the best.
let's talk about the freak baby, Frank. This is going to scare people. And here's what I want to do. I want to keep my eye on this child because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not entirely sure.
Mm-hmm.
But right here on Long Island, in Valley Stream.
Oh, boy. It's a little too close for comfort. What happened?
Yesterday, a woman gave birth to a baby.
So yesterday was February 22nd, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
22.
Could be the second coming of Jesus. Could be Satan. I don't know. I'm not here to make calls. I'm just saying, let's fucking keep our eye on this situation because it could be something one day. She gave birth to the baby, as you said, February 22nd, 2022, 22222 at 2:22 in the afternoon. So 2222222. This motherfucker came flying out of a vagina, and I don't know what it means, but I'm fucking worried. And I'd like to get a security on it and just have this thing being watched. I don't know. Like if we find out tomorrow that the 22222 freak baby just was levitating in his little bassinet, I'm not going to be surprised.
Hopefully this baby weighed more than 3 pounds 6 ounces, because that would be 2 pounds 22 ounces. 222.
I don't know.
I'm sure the baby made more than that.
Sure, baby made more than that. No.
Yeah, maybe, you don't know. But yeah, that's at 222 exactly on 22222.
Here's the other thing. I haven't been able to confirm this part of the story, but I have the AOA investigative team on it. 22 fingers, 22 toes. That's what I'm being told. Now, again,
we
not
can't
confirmed.
confirm that.
I haven't seen his fingers and toes yet, but they haven't, they haven't shown, like, are they hiding something? Are they keeping that baby warm in the baby blanket, or are they hiding 22 toes and 22 fingers? I don't know.
You count toes, fingers, and eyes. That's
baby
22.
also had 2 eyes. That's good. 2 eyes, 2 ears,
2 nostrils,
2 nostrils, 2 feet, 2 hands.
All right, this is freaking me out a little bit. What was the name? Do we know the name?
Tutu.
First name? Probably Tutu. Was he wearing a tutu?
Mm-hmm.
They put him in the tutu.
Yeah. Actually,
And it was Tuesday as well.
They didn't give the kid's name.
And it was Tuesday.
It was 2 for Tuesday. Let's be honest.
Oh my goodness.
It was 2 for Taco Tuesday. I actually did legit. I legit had Taco Tuesday. I had 2 tacos for $2 a piece.
Way to go.
A friend of mine was like, "You want to go get $2 tacos? It's 2 for Tuesday on 2. I go, I fucking say no to that. Oh yeah.
Hey, they're 99 cents at Taco Bell.
No shit.
So,
one of the people who commented on the story from News 12, which is our little local news organization here on Long Island, admitted that his sister was born on June 6th, 1960, weighing 6 pounds and 6 ounces. Now that's devil baby.
Anybody check in on her?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. I don't know, but could be bad. It could be really. Could be Hillary Clinton, his sister. I don't know. We
got to see what she's up to. Is all I'm saying.
Right, exactly. We have a lot to do. As Frank just said, investigations take a while. Okay,
that's true. I'm
fucking exhausted. I can't even talk about this Gregg Abbott thing. I can't.
What happened with Gregg Abbott? Strikes again.
Gregg Abbott strikes again. This was the guy, let's not forget, who banned masks mandates and then was in a position where he wanted to bring them back but couldn't because he already fucking banned.
This guy's an idiot again, too. So what did he do now?
I mean, like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, all right, it's over. We don't need masks. But at the time, it was a premature move that this Abbott was just, this guy fucking, he loves media attention. So anyway, this new thing now in Texas, a lot of stuff been going on with transgender people. But Gregg Abbott is calling on licensed professionals and members of the general public to report the parents of transgender minors to state authorities if it appears that the minors are receiving gender-affirming medical care. The directive was part of a letter Abbott sent Tuesday to the Department of Family and Protective Services, calling on it to conduct a prompt and thorough investigation of any reported instance of minors undergoing elective procedures for gender transitioning. Abbott's letter follows an opinion released Monday by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, which stated that allowing minors to receive transition care such as puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery is child abuse under state law. Paxton issued the opinion after legislature failed last year to pass a bill that would have made it a felony alongside physical and sexual abuse to provide such care to minors. An opinion is an interpretation of existing law. It does not change the law itself, but can affect how it is enforced. So before we get into how people feel about this, you and I, or people that are watching or listening, they tried to pass this as a law and it failed. So in turn, they put out an opinion, an interpretation of current law to essentially achieve what they failed on getting actually on the books as a law.
So what could be, let's say this happens and someone reports a situation like that. It would be treated as a child abuse situation. They would be what's the word? Brought in, I guess, on child abuse.
So Abbott has tasked licensed professionals who work with children, including teachers, nurses, and doctors, and members of the general public, so everybody, with reporting such claims. He added that state law provides criminal penalties for failure to report such child abuse. So basically, he's saying that anybody who is making an effort to have their child undergo transition, it is actually child abuse. And child abuse is, of course, you could be prosecuted for that.
I'll leave this one to you to start.
So let me say this without people getting absolutely crazy. Let me finish my whole entire thought here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot out of the transgender community, most of the issues that they have come from children doing this too early. Like the 30-year-olds who are like, fuck, I want to go back, all feel like I shouldn't have been allowed to do this as a young kid. So there is
That's happening?
That's happening. Yeah, there's people that regret it. There's people that regret it. I regret agreeing to do this podcast every day.
Yeah, people have regrets. I understand that.
So it happens. I'm not saying it's it's crazy out of control, but I'm not saying it's everybody, all the transgender people. I'm not saying any of that. I
just wish you would be, pro trans people. That's all. That's all I wish.
Saying there is an issue there. It does exist. But I think this is a crazy, even, and I don't agree with this, obviously. And on top of this, what I think is being a mistake, I find it interesting that conservatives, Republicans, people who have built their political party off of less government,
right,
no government intervention.
Good point.
Right? When we're talking about masks in school, we're like, God damn it, let the parents decide. But now that a parent is,
That's perfect,
come to this, and it's kind of like, well, this is a child abuse.
Yeah.
So parents can decide when it comes to masks, but parents can't decide when it comes to this. And let's be honest, this is a tough thing for a lot of people to handle. You know what I'm saying? Not an easy spot for parents to go through this process. It's not. Let me take it less off of a controversial topic. When parents ask kids what they want to be when they grow up, when they're like fucking 8 and shit and 12, and the kid goes a doctor or whatever, police, fireman, whatever they say, right? And then when they're like 17 and they're like, what do you want to do? And it's different. And they're like, well, I thought you wanted to be a doctor. Like, that shit's bad. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that shit's a little damaging. Like, they're fucking 8. What do they could change their mind. You know what I mean? Like, some people kind of get locked into weird shit, put a little too much onus on these kids early on. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying the path to transitioning is perfect, without issue, without struggle, right? But these people, this is their path. And I think it's their family's role to be as supportive as
To
possible.
guide that path.
Whatever
To
it
help
is,
guide the path.
whether it starts and doesn't
Not this
finish.
Gregg Abbott asshole.
Right. Whether it starts and doesn't finish, whether it starts and finishes in 10 years or whatever it is, it's going to be different for every single person. And that should be up to the family.
And anybody, that's the thing. I think what they think, I could be wrong, but I think they see this as someone's going to wake up one day and just decide I'm going to be a different sex. That's not typically how transitioning takes place. It's something deep within that people feel that they are, and that it doesn't go away. It's not decided on a whim. It's something inside them that they feel wholeheartedly. And if that's the case with someone, their family, their doctors lay it all out for them, I'm sure. If they go whatever route they take, surgery, hormones, whatever the route is. And I'm speaking not on. I don't know. I'm not trying to pretend
Anything?
like I
Oh.
know the road that transitioning people go through, because I don't. But I would equate it with just being yourself. They want to be themselves,
Right.
and if when they every day they get up and they go, I don't feel like myself. This is how I would feel like myself. It's and if they're a minor, I think they get their parents. Parents should help them and say, "This is where go lay it all out for them. This is what we're talking about. What are you get it
Yeah.
all out on the table if if you're comfortable with that." And it should be up to the family, the parents, and the person involved, and the doctors and everything. The government, all of a sudden, now the government wants to tell you who you can be.
Right. It's crazy because,
it's
and I
bullshit.
think that's the struggle, right? With trans, that's the struggle.
Exactly.
Okay. My child's 6, feels this way.
I mean, I don't
Are they
understand.
going to feel that way when they're 8? Are they going to feel that way when they're 10? Are they going to feel that way when they're 15? And when do you make that call? When do you start that process? I just don't know if anybody knows yet. Like if a 25-year-old person comes up to me and goes, "Shit, like this. Like you said, this is where I am." I think you're more likely to believe them than a fucking 12-year-old. I think in most cases with anything, you're most likely to believe an adult over a fucking kid making
Sure.
shit up.
But if
But
you're
that
the
doesn't
parent,
that doesn't give this government the
Right.
right to make that overreach and be like, well, this is like, because you just don't
But-
know, and everybody's different. So how could you blanket legislate something like this?
exactly. Plus, if you let's say there's that 12-year-old kid, and that's what they're thinking, or that's what they feel. Well, it's not just all right. Let's go down and have this done. It's a process. It's a
Right.
long. It's talks and talks and talks. It's not just a like you're going to get fast food. It's a long process, and it takes a lot of self-reflection and discussion.
Because-
I'm sure.
Transversely, for lack of a better term, if you do hold off a person from doing that for fucking 10 years, and it's just 10 years of them living in agony of like, what the fuck, that's not good either.
No,
That
that could be seen as abuse.
right. So
Why
I mean,
isn't that abuse?
it's right. So it's just it's a tough thing. Here's the great part about it is we're talking about it, which is good, because I feel like anybody talking about it, even if they're like, I don't know what the right thing is here, I feel like it's good because you're normalizing the conversation, right?
no, it
Which
should
is
be
good.
Discussed. It brought it to the forefront. Absolutely.
Yeah. But again, there is that weird thing. And again, we talked about this when we were talking about bringing up in school. It's like, when is the right time to talk about that? It's stuff in school, sex and, what you are, all this and that jazz. Who really even knows? I don't think we've answered that question yet either. But
Right. I know someone. I'm not equating it with being gay. It's different stuff. It's different things. I get that, but I know someone who is gay, and they said that they knew since they were 10.
Right.
So it's not like It's not like a kid is totally oblivious to themselves. They grow up. They know This person didn't come out until they were adults.
Right.
But they knew. I asked him, and he said, "Yeah, I knew when I was 10."
But you know what's weird? Sometimes it takes you a while to catch up to yourself. Like,
Sure.
this is far less minor than realizing you're gay, but I was on like my like fourth or fifth brunette when I realized, holy shit, I have a type. Like, wait a second, all these girls look the same. Like, keep dating. This must be my fucking, it's weird. Like, it's kind of weird how that shit happens.
Yeah, everybody figures things out at their own pace.
Yeah.
You figured out on your fourth brunette that you like brunettes.
Which is why I haven't had 4 girlfriends. But anyway, I had to inflate those numbers to make myself sound better.
From what I understand, you have 5 girlfriends.
But anyway, my father would love that joke. He would absolutely fucking love
You
it.
could send that to him.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is that no matter how you slice this complicated onion, this feels like an overreach.
This
and
doesn't seem right.
Feels pretty wrong.
This is, yeah.
Let's keep it in Texas, my friend.
Great.
Under no circumstances would we ever be sitting here discussing the campaign of a railroad commissioner.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, who even knew this was a thing? It's not even particularly a campaign per se, because it's a primary, believe it or not.
Anybody else, when you hear the word railroad, you think monopoly, like right away?
100% B&O all the way.
Right? What was the other one? Reading, which as a kid we always said is reading.
Reading, yeah. Reading Railroad.
B&O.
B&O.
Oh, yeah, the two.
Can't think of the others, but I always bought the railroads because that was part of my strategy of dominating a monopoly is buy the railroads.
You gotta get the railroads.
Gotta get the railroads first. You get all 4 of them. It's like fucking $400 if you land on one of them sons of bitches. So that's killer.
They add up.
Anyway, Sarah Stogner, everybody's talking about her because this is legit her campaign video. It's her ass naked on top of an oil rig with a cowboy.
I'm speechless. Ooh, pasties and all.
Pasties and all. And from her Twitter account, Sarah Stogner, and I'm quoting here, they said I needed money. I have other assets with the laughing emoji.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What is?
She is a 37-year-old GOP lawyer. She posted this TikTok and then posted it on a tweet, which I'm getting it from. This was posted on Super Bowl Sunday. It was shot in November by a documentary crew that she hired for her campaign against incumbent Wayne Christian. How does this guy have any chance at winning? I'm sorry.
He better have some good assets too, but I don't know.
She said, I knew it would be controversial. I didn't realize it would incite rage and anger that it did from the press. This is the first time ever. Yeah. Who would be angry at this?
What rage and anger?
I'm not even kidding. I think I'd like to get her on the Trump cabinet when he comes back. I think
the only way that could have been better is if that oil thing was on.
And it was
moving up and down. That's the only way.
What's wrong with you? That's
I'm
too
sorry.
far.
That's too far. I'm sorry. But no, that's a strategy, I guess. I don't know where she stands on the railroad issues, but I guess she likes oil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nothing to do with it. I could see, if she was on a train, it would make more sense.
By the way, I love oil. America. I haven't seen Elon Musk put together a campaign this captivating for a stupid electric car.
Yeah. Now, I don't, again, railroad commissioner, I don't see anything to do with the railroad here. I don't know why she's on an oil rig.
Doesn't matter, Frank. The thing is this is the out-of-box thinking that we need as a country moving forward. First of all, can I tell you the first thing I saw her do wrong is run for railroad commissioner instead of governor, because I think that she could run circles around this Abbott.
I think she could beat out Ted Cruz for senator.
For sure. What has Ted Cruz done that we could praise?
Nothing like this. Not
like this, my friend. Not like this. She has since apologized for it. Mistake. Never apologize to the left-wing media.
Why? What was the outrage? Why was everybody upset?
I don't know, because conservatives are afraid of titties. Let's be honest. They're just afraid of titties being out.
Oh no.
That's secret stuff that they do behind closed doors and pay people for. You know,
they're not even out. It's just not. I mean, she's naked, but you don't see anything. Everybody's got to relax a little bit.
Anyway, we joke and kid, but honestly, I think this is an intelligent move because
Look at the press she's gotten for this.
she's gotten the focus on her, and now she can start to say some real shit, and people are going to be listening. Whereas before, nobody would have gave a fuck. I'm not saying all women should act like this, but she saw a path and took it.
I think you're saying the only way people listen to women is when they take their clothes off. That's what you're saying.
Not really, but I like what you're doing.
Thank you.
I appreciate the method you chose.
You do it to me sometimes, so I got to throw it back.
Of course. One of the guys in the Olympics had a frozen peen.
I never heard of just that area freezing and nothing, like that specific area.
Yeah.
Just, hey.
Remy Lindholm says it was so cold during a race at the games in Beijing over the weekend, his penis literally froze while he was competing. Here's this painful part about that. Does the pee inside freeze? Because feels even worse.
I thought, if you're holding it, I don't think it's not like it's filled with pee and you're holding it. Pee, you hold it from your bladder.
Lindholm said the horrifying injury happened during Saturday's men's 50K, where the temperatures dropped so low that officials actually delayed the start of the shortened race. They shortened the race from 50 to 30 kilometers. The precautions, though, clearly didn't help because he said that after spending over an hour on the race course, his junk turned into a popsicle. Lindholm said that he needed a heat pack to thaw everything out, but added that once he got warm, the pain was unbearable.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Turns out this was... Wait, not the first time that Lindholm has experienced this. He said it happened to him at a race in Finland in 2021.
Why is this only happening to this guy? This poor bastard.
I think he's got a huge hog. I think that's what he's saying. My dick is so big.
It's far away from the heating power of my body.
Yeah. First of all, we can't get a little heater in this guy's jock strap. I feel like this should be allowed for these athletes.
Those little packs that like workers outdoor construction they put in their gloves.
Yeah.
Just throw that down there.
Throw that in there. Men, women, protect the hooties, the rear end, the peens, everything.
That's important stuff. You got to worry about frostbite. I mean, he didn't lose anything, right?
No, he didn't lose anything, but that's a painful. I mean, yeah, I was outside the other morning clearing off the cars when it snowed, and I was like, oh fuck, my hands. Like I was like, oh, I can get this off. And then at one point I was like, oh shit, and I ran inside. And my hands going from freezing to warm, it hurt so bad. I can't even imagine. I can't
imagine that either.
Can't imagine.
But you ever like your hands are in snow or whatever it is, and you go right into like under your sink, your kitchen sink, you get hot water.
Hot pain.
Oh, it's the worst.
Pain.
It's still not gradual. It's terrible.
Still not on Truth Social. In fact, I think we have a fan feedback on this. So we'll get to that in a second. Before we get to fan feedback, a new highlight reel is out right now. So everybody go check that out if you want. It's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You could see it at any one of those spots.
It might be in your mailbox too, right outside your house.
It might be in the mailbox. Yeah.
Check it out.
It is maybe one of Frank's funniest moments. I'm a little mad at him though because it took 4 hours to produce the 60-second reel.
Nobody told you to produce anything.
I'm so annoyed. There was just so many edits and shit and everything that we had to do. But anyway, let me see if I could just pull this up just to show people.
That's what she said.
No, I can't even put this on the screen. Anyway.
Which one is it?
It's on Well, because it shows all the behind the scenes stuff on my little view here, and I don't want everybody seeing like I can't show some of that stuff.
Do you know what we were talking about? What was the scene?
No, what was it about? It was about the Frank Fap Club. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The people diddling themselves to you, which is, that's worthy. That's worthy.
Very flattered. But I don't know why I don't remember being funny during that.
Oh, you were hysterical. Yeah. And everybody watch it to the end. And then pause the end and really pay attention to the end because the end is fantastic. Just fantastic.
We have the best ends in the business.
Yes, we're getting out new highlight reels, 60-second clips of the show. And that was a good one. Please share
Sometimes-
those. It's super important for our growth. Go ahead.
Sometimes 60 seconds with this show is all you can take, and we get that.
That's definitely
I
the case
understand.
for me. It's definitely the case for me. Okay, fan feedback here. Always getting your comments, always reading your reactions. Please keep those coming.
They are fun to read. I love them.
Yeah.
And Twitter, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, especially. I think we get the most on YouTube, if I'm not
A
mistaken.
lot of comments on YouTube, Facebook as well. Yeah.
So keep it coming.
And here's why I love them, because when Frank and Janine gang up on me, I can trust that you will be there for me, including Annie, who says about Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend, she has got a fucking worm face. She looks like she should be popping out of an apple. She's quoting me here.
Yep.
She's saying, I died during that. Thank you.
All right. It doesn't say
correct.
she agreed with you, but she laughed at it.
Yeah. Priscilla writing in on the last episode. Great episode. New merch with a wink. Take your top off if you need help. Did we say that?
Yeah. Well, that was the coffee, Starbucks coffee.
Right.
Take the top off of the coffee. That's pretty funny. Take your top off if you need help.
Fuck, that's really good.
That is good. Double meaning. We're not talking, but hey.
Take your top off if you need help.
If you need help.
Ooh,
That's pretty funny.
we got to develop that. That's good. That's a really good one. Can't share that one. I did share that one with you privately though.
Uh-oh.
Oh
yeah, and if anybody's wondering, we don't delete anything. If you put up a comment and instantly you can't find it, it goes away. That's not us deleting it. The only situation we would ever delete anybody's comments is if it's hate, like hate speech or anything like that.
Yeah. Hi Aunt. I don't even know. LOL axe. I don't even know. Anyway, hi Aunt. I'm a fairly new listener from England and want to let you know how much I enjoy listening to all of you, especially Frankie C.
Ooh, thank you. Who's this?
Purple Heart. LOL axe. I don't know. I can't read that.
LOL axe. Thank you
confusing
very
me.
much. Appreciate that.
What does Purple Heart mean? I don't know what that means.
I think it's just a heart. There's many colors of
She
hearts.
just chose purple.
Purple's a nice color. It's actually my favorite color. Little known fact.
Oh, interesting. I was shocked and somewhat impressed when you and Frankie stated in a previous podcast that you didn't know what the currency of England was. How have you made it this far in life not knowing we use
Fair
pounds?
question. We knew. I thought we.
FYI, quid is slang for pounds. Anyway,
Okay.
thanks for the three of you for making me laugh every day. P.S. Oh, shit. P.S. You made another Anthony when you said delusionness, not a word.
Oh,
Okay.
so every time we screw up a word, it's called an Anthony.
That's an Anthony? That's offensive.
I like it. I think that sticks.
I don't care for that. I think we did know that it was pounds.
I think we knew, but quid is.
We didn't
what
know
we're
that-
quoting the article was quid. I think.
Yeah, we said quid. No, quid wasn't in the article. And I think I might have said, I don't know if it was euros or pounds. I still don't know the difference between what a euro is and a pound. I don't know what the symbols are, but I know pounds are what they use in England. I do know that. So, but I love the comment anyway, even though you.
Yeah, and if quid, if we know the slang, that's good enough. That's like saying a buck for $1.
Hey, I just tried. Oh, that's the jumpstart thing. I read that already.
Oh, you found it twice now. You couldn't find it at all last time, but now you found it twice.
Bird, always great comments. Sitting here, eating my 10 a.m. bowl of Frosted Flakes, watching the previous night's episode of AOA, and I'm getting the best part of the cereal. You know, there's barely any flakes left, and it's time to drink your frosted dreams.
Yes.
So Ant is reading fan feedback, and he reads the one about doing God's work, and I snort, laugh, frosted heaven all down my chin. Anyway, God is weird. I remember saying
Frosted.
God's work. I can't remember what I said it for now.
I do remember that. Yeah, but you're right. I don't remember what the heck you were talking about.
Style Girl. Hey guys, Truth Social is being crashed because too many people tried to join at the same time. If you get through to make an account, you are then put on a waiting list. I am 185,000. The other thing I heard is that they're vetting applicants to eliminate bots. Well, that's bullshit. Because
I'm sure they're going to want as many bots as they can get.
Well, yeah, I don't think that that's going to matter. I mean, bots are bad for business, but, you know.
They jump up your numbers, though.
Yeah, but I mean, people get annoyed with that kind of shit. They don't want to be on that. I
You
get
mean trolls?
no bots. Like I'll get tagged
Oh.
and we get tagged and stuff all the time, and it's very irritating. I report that shit right away, where it's like, oh, buy these watches or something, or discount
Oh, yeah, I
sunglasses,
hate
and you're
that
like,
shit.
what the fuck? And but you're tagged in it, and then 5,000 other people are tagged in it, which you can't really even do. That's a bot.
I'm fairly certain that and I could be wrong, but I'm 90% sure that the holdup with Truth Social is not them weeding out bots.
I think that is bullshit.
It's just an assumption that I'm making.
Yeah, it could be part of it, but I don't think it's the whole reason. And also, I think this is not how you launch a social media network.
No.
It's not how it's done. The last one to have first of all, TikTok doesn't count because it was pandemic, and that was that's a exception to the rule. It was great the way they did it, but Clubhouse I'd say would be the other closest thing, and Clubhouse went the exclusivity route. Like not everybody can join it, and there was just so much buzz about it. And then when they let people join it, it was people who were already in, and they could only invite one person, so you had to be invited. So that was like a big thing. It's like, ooh, look, I got invited.
Is it still a thing? Like people?
To my point, they were the last ones to do it well, and here we are all this time later, and nobody gives a shit about
Nobody gives a
Clubhouse
shit.
anymore. And then because what happened? Facebook, Twitter, they all made their own fucking clubhouses where people already had followings and didn't have to rebuild. That's why creators abandon platforms, because the bigger ones just add that piece in, and then they go, oh fuck, I'm not gonna worry about building my influence on Clubhouse. I've already got 1 million followers on Twitter. I'll just do the Clubhouse stuff on Twitter.
Exactly.
And that's why these apps tend to fail. Jody, J-Sabs was this one of Epstein's associates for your job escapades. It sounds really weird.
That guy was creepy. The guy who interviewed her for whatever. I don't remember what she was like going to be an assistant. He was creeping out.
Or did he just episode. Or did he just want to make sure he didn't have to be politically correct? That's the weird thing. It's one of those two, and boy, you hope it's the politically correct one.
Yeah. Did you have to call him daddy? If you're interviewing someone, yeah, I feel like that's on the don't ask list. That's a definite no.
Yeah. Jody also commenting on my Islanders game story where the girl got touched on the back by that drunk guy, and my wife was all over it, and I was like, anyway. Jody says Anthony's wife handled it because Anthony was still talking about the pros of not bringing the kids to the arena. His wife is used to mostly testing. She did a great job. So credit to Cuddles there from Jody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of blew that one.
You did, but that's all right.
Glowworm, funniest shit from last episode. Frank reenacting writing on the Starbucks cup.
Should we get to? I don't know if I should put. How do you spell trouble? But should I abbreviate? Okay.
Lorraine, Havana syndrome. My cousin was one of those government workers at the Cuban embassy. They were sent home because so many people were complaining about headaches, ringing of the ears, migraines, etc.
Yikes.
I
feel like that's stuff we see in the movies. Like they point a big, like satellite dish looking gun at someone, and they go, ah.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
This is a great name, Dingalingus.
from the Latin of that's a Latin term. Dingalingus Maximus.
Dingalingus writes in, Havana syndrome is not real. It's just different disinformation to get people on board with having enemies towards the U.S. Classic American false flag type situation. Just listen to the folks. Everything is so vague. They are being attacked everywhere they go. Who are they? They are not even important people. I don't believe it at all.
All right.
Dingalingus brings up some pretty good points. These are not terribly important people, a lot of them. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, because you kind of just want to see what you can get away with if you're testing something out, first of all.
And not to mention that a couple of the people work next door to the White House.
Right.
In that story. And that's only the people we know about.
Right.
So maybe it happened to some important people that they just kept it quiet.
Somebody's got to be the guinea pig before you actually use this thing on a really big target. And in that 60-minute story, they did say that a cabinet level person was affected. So, who knows? Perhaps much like COVID, some people are more susceptible to it than others. I don't really know. But I will say, and Dingalingus didn't say this, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, like the people in the Cuban embassy, like maybe they just wanted to get the fuck out of there, and they were all just like, oh, not that they were coordinating something together, but I'm saying if you want to get out of a situation, everything that gets
Yeah, I don't know.
emphasized.
But hey, thanks for the comment, Dingolingus.
Yeah, thanks for the name. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
The real anyway, Nicola Jack writing in about the nursery rhyme that Prince Andrew. Remember they were singing the nursery rhyme. That's a real nursery rhyme, which we assumed. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, we don't know the tune, how it goes.
I don't know what the tune is, but the words are: the grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill, and he marched them down again. So, is that insulting though? It sounds like the Duke of York does nothing. Like, oh, he just
marched someone up and down the hill.
Yeah, because he's got 10,000 men, so he marched them up the hill. That sounds insulting. If that's the original one, I don't even know.
I don't. You know what a weird thing is that I never realized until not that long ago, which I should have. That most people don't even realize. Humpty Dumpty. Everybody thinks when you picture Humpty Dumpty, what do you picture?
An egg.
Never says he's an egg.
Never.
Everybody pictures an egg for some reason.
What is it? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a
great fall. All the king's horses, all the king's men, put Humpty back together again. It doesn't have to be an egg.
That's true. Nobody said it was an egg.
It could be a dinner plate for all we know.
It's the fake news media. They want you to believe it was an egg. Nobody ever said it.
Big egg company. We're going to put a stop to that. When I'm president, eggs will have equal say.
It's
but
big pharma.
But eggs can't serve in our military.
Big Pharma did it. See what I did there? Big Farm.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Tired. My jaw's hurting. Can't do this anymore. Fucking annoying.
That's what he said?
I got a fucking jaw pain in the head. It's been driving me crazy all show. You know how you know it's bad? I didn't eat dinner. That's how you know. That's how you know shit's fucking going down.
That's that. You go to the doctor.
What do you call that pain when the pain is right where your jaw?
Not here or here so much, but right here. Oh, shape.
Richard, what's happening?
I don't know what that pain is called, but it doesn't sound good. Is your wife happy? It could be from that.
Yeah, it's fucking killing me. Anyway, I've had enough.
Is it like sometimes, we had a friend that had pain like that, and there was, problem with his jaw. So check it out.
Did we?
Yeah, we do. He doesn't. He doesn't live close to us anymore. If that helps.
Oh, was that right? I'll have to ask him about this. It's fucking driving me crazy.
Is this recent?
Like it's all just today.
Any better since it first happened?
No. It's gotten worse. And I'll tell you what's even worse. I wear my earpiece in this ear, and I've had you just pounding down into that. It's just driving. It's been even. I'm
sorry.
I should get an award for this episode.
Is there do you feel like a bump or anything there?
No.
No,
nothing feels like this. Feels like a sinus thing to me because this feels like the same pain that you get like around here when you get like that sinus headache. I don't know if there's a sinus
underneath, like
cavity
glands.
No, just right here.
I don't know. Then I mean, maybe WebMD that stuff.
No, I don't do that because then I'll be up all night and then I won't fucking sleep.
Dentist, go to the dentist. They'll figure it out. Take an X-ray.
Yeah, I could go for a good old painkiller right about now. I took 3 Tylenol. It did nothing.
Aleve. I find Aleve works for me.
Yeah?
Not saying Tylenol's bad. I'm just saying I use Aleve because that usually does a good trick.
I'm ready to tape onions under my feet. That's how fucking bad this is.
Can't hurt.
That's a hell of a callback. All right. You got anything else?
I'm good.
That's it for us. Catch you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Don't forget the new merch that's up at the store, shopanthonyonair.com. And of course, Jumpstart Coffee Company. Save 50%. Link in the description below. Order up that Jumpstart Coffee Company.
Do it.
Do it now while that discount code still works. AOA 15. Catch you guys on the next one.